Hello guys, this is Weather Superman, and as many of you might be struggling with the Comp 9021 introduction, the principal programming course, and in fact, I struggle quite a bit as well, but eventually I worked it out, and I just want to do this a walkthrough of my solution, my take on this quiz, and hopefully this can inspire you to try something on your own. Obviously, I hope this my solution can help you to gain some insight, some ideas uh, for your own implementation. Okay, let's start. And so the very first thing is like let's look at the requirement. Okay, so we need output for list, right? And the first one is about elements to keep, which consist of L's smallest element and L's third smallest element and the fifth smallest element. So that will be our first text. I have laid everything out, so each of these will output the appropriate list. I hope which keep everything pretty tidy and neat. And so let's fill out the first functions. So when you are tackling this question, and I just think you need to utilize some very basic functions. So you need to be familiar with some of the very basic functions that's available from the NumPy libraries. Let's so the very first thing is we need to know that L is a very random list. It's completely unordered. So we need to somehow and to find the elements to keep. To find the smallest, third smallest, and fifth smallest, we need to kind of sort it into an order in order to achieve the result. So we need to use NumPy sort, right? And among other things. And there's also, so we need to do three things here. We first need to convert L into a set, right? We convert L into a set, right? What that does is basically remove all the duplicates, right? And but we still need to convert it into a list. Let's just make this something else like ordered list. Yeah. So, but that's not, now it's become a set. A set is different from a list. So we need to convert this into a list. Use this, put everything inside this list function. But now we still need to kind of, use an order to make sure that the order is correct. So we need to use NumPy sort. Okay, put everything here, everything under the single bracket. So now we have this order list. Okay, so now it says, okay, local variable order list is assigned but not never used, but that's not the error, is it? Okay, so we have sorted the list, and actually I want to, so once we have this sorted list, we need to find out appropriate indexes for the output we really want, right? So think about this. Third smallest, the smallest, third smallest, fifth smallest, the index for the smallest value should be like, let me just draw something out for you guys. This is something else. Let's just make a new page, right? Okay, so if we have a list, for example, let's take a shorter one, 6, 6, 0, 4, 8. Sorry for the bad writing. 7, 6, 4, 7, 5. Okay. So what we have already done by using sort and list is that we kind of remove the duplicates. So let's remove this duplicate now, yeah? And we remove this one as well. So we kind of now we can rearrange everything. So now from the smallest to the highest is now 0, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so now is this list is now this sorry about that. This ordered list is now this. Okay, it's now this. So we need to find out. So this is the smallest, this is the third smallest, and this is fourth smallest. So our desirable output should be 5. Should be this, right? But that's in order to get that result, we need to use index. So the index for this 0 is 0, isn't it? Is 0. And for 5 is 2. And for this one is 4. So have you noticed something? These indexes are all even number. So what's the property of even number? Even number has, if the remainder of an even number divided by 2 should be 0, right? So let's write this out. So for example, there's an even number, right? And the remainder, we use this percentage sign. Yeah, it should be 0, right? That's what we want. So let's think about this. Okay, how can we implement this idea into our, the code? Well, actually very simple. So we need to use a for loop here, right? We need to use a for loop. For A, in, I love to use range. Okay, len, which will give you the length of the input list. So we use put ordered list here. So we know the length. So the range, so you construct a for loop, right? From the 0 all the way to, and the upper bound will be the length of the list. Okay, so now let's put this. Now it's all good. So the next step, we need to use the condition, right? So we use if, and for this iteration for A, each element, right? The remainder is 0. Okay? So if that is 0, that is exactly what we want, right? So we use, then it's really, really simple, unbelievably simple. And we can now, because we already have this element to keep, which is an empty list. So we just, I'm quite lazy to type, so I just put it here. Okay. So now we use a very, very valuable function. It's called append. See, it's already here. I just press tab. It's already automatically entered. So now, what is the argument inside? An object. Okay. So what is that object? Okay. So that object is the desirable element from our ordered list. Okay. So I just do this. Okay, so, and that will be A. Okay, by doing so, we just completed the very first element to keep. Very simple, isn't it? Okay, let's just test run this. So I select all, Control Enter. Okay, so now let's just try this one. Yeah, 11, 13, 20. something has gone wrong. Oh, sorry, I forgot a very important thing because these are all just defined as a function. So we really need to just extract the output from this function. Otherwise, it's not gonna work. So we just very easy actually to keep, yeah, equals the calculator equals that. So now if we run this again, select all and control plus enter to execute. So now 11, 13, 20. Now you see the elements to keep in L1, L2 are 1, 3, 8, 10, 13. And if you compare with the answer, oh yeah, we have got it correct. Congratulations, guys. We just did it. Okay, now let's move on to L1. So what is L1? Let's just read again. So L1 consisting of all members of L which are part of elements to keep, preserving the original order. The original order is extremely important here, so we cannot ignore that. So consisting of all members of L that are part of elements to keep. So we need to kind of, compare, compare our random list with the element inside the list that is called elements to keep. So we need two for loop here. So we can compare one by one, one by one, one by one. Let me explain what two for loop mean. For example, if I get this element here, if there is a list, two lists, right? Here, here, right here, 1, 2, 3, 4. So the first loop will loop through the first list. But if I make sure the second for loop is nested within the first loop, so what that will essentially do, for each of the first element inside the first loop, it will compare with each of the element inside the second loop. Yeah? And for B will be the same. So we are drawing, so compare B with every single element inside the second loop, and the C as well, etc., etc. That's what the principle of nested loop, right? So don't be confused there. It's actually really, really simple to understand. Okay, so now, so let's make our first loop. So I love using A and capital A and B for this. I just hate this very small like I and J whatever. So I use A all the time. I mean it's the same anyway. So for A in range, again, the length of the original L list, right? Okay. So then we make another loop for B in range. Now what do we need to put in here? Length, of course. Okay, it's not L, but it is elements to keep, remember. Actually, the hint is already here, because when I constructed this function, I need two inputs here, right? So I put element to keep here, right? So that's how I do it. So we have a nested loop here. So we need to find a condition again. So what is the condition? Yeah, it's like, for example, I want to compare the generated list with element to keep. Yeah, compare each of the element inside the L list with the element to keep here. So that means that we can have repeat. Yeah, we can have repeat. So if you see L1 here, the standard that we can have repeat. Okay, we can have a repeat. As long as this element is the same as an element inside the elements to keep, then we can add it to this L1. So we start define the L1 here already. So yeah, we just need to use append again. And it's really, really simple. So we need to if Yeah, it's a condition. If an element inside the original L list, which consists of random numbers, is equal, it's the same as that element. Yeah. Same as the element inside the elements to keep list. Okay. Yeah. So that's what we have here. Okay. Then what do? We need to get pen. Yeah. And L1 right now is an empty list, but we're gonna add elements to it. Okay. So what do we do here? Is the element inside the original L list is the one that we're gonna append to the L1 list. As long as that particular element meets the condition, it's the same as one element inside the elements to keep list. Okay, I hope you guys can get around what I'm saying, but it's actually if you think about it, everything will be more clear. So we have just completed this function. But if you wanna, I love to doing this. Else, I just no. If I put this thing here, right? I just pass. Okay, you need it's optional. You can ignore this bit, but I just love doing this. Okay, this stuff. So now we just worked it out the second part of the question, which is to do L1, right? Okay, let's just run everything again. Let's just restart the kernel. Now select. Sorry guys, it take a while. Okay. Okay, now let's just try this again. 11, 13, 20. Okay. Oh, sorry, I made the same mistake again. You need to activate the function, right? So that's something to be aware of, because some people, when they are complete beginner, say, "Oh my God, where did I do wrong?" Sometimes it's this very little mistake you make that really is causing the problem. So don't panic, okay? Never panic. Just keep calm. You will find out the problem. Okay. Okay. So we activate this function, put in the element. See, the element already tells you what element to put in. So I put L elements to keep. Remember, these elements to keep is the input, but it's also the output of the previous function. Yeah. So note that. Okay, now we have just completed. Okay, let's just select. Run the whole thing again. 11, 13, 20. Oh, well, good. Now, guys, you see L1. L1, let's compare. 13, 8, 13, 8, 13, 3, 8, 10, 1. Oh, yeah, we just did it. Congratulate yourself. Man, you just achieved a milestone. Now, shall we just take a break, and we're gonna come back later to do L2 and L3. L3 is actually gonna be really, really hard, and I'm probably gonna spend quite a few moments to explain everything. So I'm gonna see you guys in a moment. Thank you.